are to not require an access card for like the playground areas, the swing areas, for the doggy park, or the pavilion areas. And those are the open areas around the common area, the big one in the front, also in the back. So that way, if anybody who wants to use it, they can use it. They won't be asked for an ID card or anything like that. The only time that they will be asked is for the enclosed areas, right? It's the pool areas, the basketball court, the gym, things that required a badge or have an access card that needed to it, right now as it is. So that part won't change. Also, if the residents are using those areas that are open, if they will, and they need to use the restroom, they either need to have the badges with them, or the other option is, if it's a little kid, is to give the officer, if they're there during that time, if they're there, discretion to escort people in, let them use it, and then escort them back out. So that's what you guys propose. That's what I put in here.
Okay, what I want to do then is propose a motion to waive the access card requirement with respect to community playgrounds, dog park, and pavilion areas. Do I have a motion to that effect?
Yes.
Discussion among the board on that issue?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Is it,
All in favor?
well, do I hear a second on the motion?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor with the pending resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the motion is adopted by unanimous vote of the directors present. Okay, item 2 on the agenda, sprinkler system replacement. Once again, I will have Ms. Raposo please explain to the members what that agenda item is about.
So over the years, we've been having a lot of problems with the sprinklers breaking up and down the boulevard and on the common areas. I was just thinking. Okay. So can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, let me know, then I'll stop. All right, so because of the sprinkler heads been broken, some of them have been run over, some of them have been trashed. We've done a lot of repairs and fixing. This year alone, we've already spent almost $8,000 in just repairs. We still have a lot of other ones. The other issues too, we're losing a lot of plants because certain areas are getting watered, some areas are not, and you can tell because of the patches of dirt and whatever. So I went and got a couple bids from different companies, including the existing landscape company. They're all coming in about $1,500 to $1,600 to change out the whole system from one section per zone.
Yeah, but that's $1,600 per zone.
Per zone. And that includes the plumbing underneath, that includes the wiring that goes with it, the changing out the zones all the way to it, even the box.
And how many zones are there?
There's 50 zones around the whole neighborhood. So that comes out to $75,000 for that project.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you don't do it, all you're going to do is patchwork the whole thing.
Well, over the years, we keep spending $8,000 here, $19,000
That's all we keep
there,
doing.
20 there, yeah. So
What are the bids? Who submitted bids?
right now, it's the sprinkler repair company is the one of Central Florida.
So we only have one person?
No, we have 3. So I just required to get 3. So the other one is the current Chris. He was about $1,500 as well.
Sorry, so we have sprinkler repair. What was the amount of that bid?
That one was the 16 per zone, $1,600 per zone.
And what kind of warranty do you give on them?
He gives a year warranty.
Is that parts and labor?
Parts and labor.
Okay. So that's $1,600 per zone. How many zones?
50 zones.
Okay. This is
But
okay.
he's using one that can say, they all do it, to where you don't have to replace it all in one shot. You can replace it in, like in the front, you can replace inside, you can replace it in the back. Situation. So as you go through.
So sprinkler repairs bid is $1,600 per zone.
That's
Yeah.
50 zones.
With a
Times
total of
50
50 zones.
26 zones on the
That
front.
comes up to a total contract of $80,000.
75,000.
$75,000. I have not looked at the contracts. I haven't looked at any of these contracts.
So they'll drop. These are just bids.
All right, okay, all right.
They'll drop off contracts.
So the idea is to
The difference
accept
is
one of the bids, and then they're going to submit a formal contract for the work, and you're going to run that up the flagpole with your community association
something big
council.
like that. Yeah.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
To eyeball what it is you're committing to. All right, so we have sprinkler repair coming in at 75. What are the other bids?
They're all about the same.
What were they from?
One is Greater Outdoor, which is our company now, the landscape company that does sprinklers now. They're, like I said, he's about the same. And then the other one was...
Well, tell us about that.
He's the one that's currently doing our landscaping company.
Is he doing a satisfactory job? Does anybody know? I mean, it's one of those things.
No, I think he does our repairs now. He does try to save us where he can money here and there. The only problem is that he doesn't have any warranties. So if it breaks again, he's just a landscape company, so he's not going to do it. The other one is another landscape company as well. The difference between the two is this one is actually a sprinkler company, so they give you warranties and this.
So that one will give us a year warranty, whereas the other two won't?
Well,
Well, then
that's the only difference between the two.
that's a big difference.
Yeah, they'll draw out the contract. I just need to know which one you want to go with.
Well, the sprinkler repair contract is purportedly going to have provisions relating to a warranty with respect to parts and labor on the work performed, correct?
Right.
And the board right now is not going to contract. We're talking about going back to sprinkler repair, asking them to please prepare a form of contract within the bid amount that's already been submitted, so that association council can eyeball it, and then there'll be a final vote of the board of directors to actually direct the president of the association to sign the contract. Does that process sound acceptable?
Yes.
All right. Do I hear a motion from the board with respect to adopting a resolution to ask sprinkler repair to submit a bid and contract? Okay. Do I hear a second? I hear a second. With respect to the board members present, all in favor of preliminarily accepting the bid of sprinkler repair company pending review of the contract, please say aye. Any nays? All say aye?
Aye.
Okay, unanimous adoption to ask sprinkler repair to submit a formal contract to the association for repair of the sprinkler systems. Okay, moving on with the agenda. We have another agenda item identified as splash pad. Don't know what that means. Ms. Raposo, what is that agenda item all about?
Over the years, we've been getting contracts, or not contracts, but bids for the second pool, as we called it. So we went from the second pool now to the splash pad. So it's basically adding, this is what it is. We put it off for the years because of the streets and in anticipation of getting the streets. So now we have it to where it's going to be attached, you know, where the playground equipment is now, to where it'll be attached. That will be moved over, and then this will be attached to the pool existing pool that we have now.
What is it?
It's a splash pad.
It's a splash pad for kids and little ones and people who don't want to be in the pool, but they can go in the. It's got some water popping out.
Almost like at Universal.
Something
they
for
have the water.
infants to play
Yeah,
with.
right.
Okay.
Little kids, and it's something to help with the community.
There's also a slide, it looks like.
There's a slide. There's a slide that
Where
goes
exactly would
in.
that
So this
be?
would be like, it's kind of, you know, where the playground is now in the common area.
Yeah.
It would take up that whole space. We'd have to take out the suites, we'd have to take out the kids' playground area and move those over, and then we'd have to put that in there.
And the parking lot would go where?
No, the parking lot would stay the same.
Where are you gonna move the swing and stuff to?
Over to the open field.
Oh, that's so, that's.
Yeah. That's the
So on
only
the
space.
other side of the creek.
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah.
How would that, people and kids get across the creek, do they have to go down the sidewalk?
The sidewalk, yeah, it'll be the sidewalk. So basically just moving that over there to that.
What's the price associated with that?
Right now, it's ranging from, it's expensive. It's 2,000. This one particular, I'm not telling you to go with this model. This model is 350,000.
Wow.
That's why I told you they're expensive.
That's like a brand new
Now,
amenity.
if you take it
I gotta warn
down-
you, that's a big one. That's almost like an expansion of the existing amenities.
That's a whole nother pool.
Yeah,
So between
told
the
you they're
sprinklers and this, it would take our entire reserve
yeah,
balance down to zero.
That's what I said.
yeah, but that's, what happened to the, didn't we have something else?
Be a
we were looking
picnic
at that-
board.
What?
It was a pool. It was a secondary pool with a bunch of slides and stuff to it. And then we started adding the splash, and then we took that one, and that was 400-something thousand. So we took that one out and came back to this one. As I said, it keeps getting.
Well, understand what we're talking about is a project which is going to materially add to the existing amenities of the association and is going to fundamentally alter the association's budget going forward as far as maintenance, repair, and replacement of this new amenity. I'm inclined, as the association's counsel, with respect to a project like this, to consider submitting the project to a vote of the members to see if they would be in favor of expanding the existing amenities to include something like this. It's almost like a brand new playground, like a brand new basketball court. And here we're talking about a pool, right? Which I presume this is going to include a pool pump, pool filter.
It's not a pool. It's a little a city pool, but it'll still need all the plumbing, the filter, the electricity. Yeah.
Ongoing
Facts and
maintenance,
all that.
ongoing repairs. In terms of a reserve for deferred maintenance, to the extent the association wants to maintain that, this would have to be added as an additional item requiring a reserve for deferred maintenance. Ultimately, from where I'm sitting, I would recommend that a project like this be submitted to the members for a vote. It would be a meeting of the members noticed by the board of directors through its lawful management company. A quorum of members would need to be present in person or by proxy at that meeting in order to conduct the business, and a majority of the members present voting in favor of the project would allow it to go forward. I'd want to be able to assist the association in preparing the notice so everybody knows exactly what's being contemplated and what they're voting on. Maybe even enclose a schematic or maybe even a copy of the contract with a schematic showing what's contemplated and the associated cost. So ultimately, I think that that kind of a project of that scope would not be appropriate for the board on its own to decide to go forward on. Maybe at a subsequent meeting of the board, you could decide to vote on whether to have a meeting of the members to consider this project. But this is just simply identified as splash pad. Any further comments from the board on this project?
Yeah, I agree with what you think. I think more people need to.
Yeah, they need to know about it.
I have a comment. It's too expensive and ill-timed.
It's a major project. There's a lot of controversy in the subdivision right now.
I think it should be put on hold. I would even suggest it.
All right, so do I hear a motion to table any action with respect to the splash pad? Second?
Yeah.
All in favor of tabling any further action on this project?
No,
All in favor of tabling it?
tabling is high.
Okay, we're not going to take any action at all with respect to this project. At a subsequent meeting of the board, we could take up the possibility of setting up a meeting of the members to vote on this and allow the members to decide if they want to go forward with a major project like this. Next item on the agenda is the Turnberry Reserve Street turnover update. And this is a fairly complicated issue. management's gonna need to explain that so that everybody can understand what this agenda item is all about.
This is where we keep going back and forth to the county, trying to negotiate with them, if you will. So the last meeting we had was last week with the board president, myself, and the other HOA attorney that is just hired to deal with this issue. Not Mr. Peter McGrath here. An attorney attended that hearing. We talked to Commissioner Fred Hawkins, very lengthy. We also talked to his staff as well, due to the fact that Fred Hawkins, at this point, he doesn't want to support any changes with the roads. He doesn't want to explore any corrections of the roads. He doesn't want to do anything with the roads at this point in time. And that's because he's leaving office in 2 months. So we're gonna have to talk to the new commissioner that's coming in. And I've already set up a couple meetings with him. So, or with people. So whoever gets voted in, we have to wait until then. So we've talked to the school officials already, and we've already had a couple other appointments. The attorney is also trying to explore legal avenues in order to discuss ways of taking over the roads. So they're already talking with county's legal, and then whatever she reveals, she'll come and have a meeting.
So this is a idea being floated to privatize the roads in the Turnberry subdivision,
Right.
and having the county revoke the public dedication of those roads. That's a pretty major undertaking as well. We're in the preliminary stages of those discussions,
Right.
and clearly this would require a vote of the members. This would greatly expand the common areas of the
We
association. I
already
mean,
did
it would dwarf what's being contemplated as far as the splash pad goes. So, okay, very good. So right now, those discussions, where the county is concerned, they are not encouraged, and they are not encouraging in terms of the association's roads being privatized at this stage. Fair enough.
Right. We already did though, where we sent out the petitions to everybody. We've been doing this since 2014.
Okay.
So we submitted those petitions to the county, they reviewed them, and now that's what they're trying to figure out, the legality of taking them over or not taking them over, whatever that is.
But there's no pending action for the board to take on this issue today?
No, not today.
That's just an update.
That's just
Okay.
an update.
Okay, there's the update on that. It's a major undertaking to privatize roads, which comes with a lot of responsibility associated with that ownership. So a lot of input from a lot of folks is going to be necessary before anything like that would be possible. All right, the next item on the agenda is the board letter to Management 35 about Joseph Conover. Do you have a copy of that letter? I was directed by the board of directors to issue a urgent letter to Management 35 concerning Joseph Conover. This letter made it clear that Joseph Conover must be terminated as an employee of Management 35 with respect to any activities he might undertake on behalf of Turnberry. And I'll go ahead and read it so the members can hear it. It is the understanding of the board of directors for the association that your management company, Management 35 Firm Inc., employs a certain Joseph Conover. It is further the understanding of the board, based on reporting from Wake County, North Carolina, that Mr. Conover pled guilty to and was convicted of at least one felony back in April 12, 2017. I cited the webpage where there's reporting concerning this felony. Then I stated that the board cannot abide a convicted felon working in any capacity for the association. For this reason, the president of the board has requested that I advise you that Joseph Conover must cease and desist from providing any management services whatsoever on behalf of the association until such time as the board has met to discuss this matter. That's what we're doing today. The meeting was originally scheduled to take place on October 9. We're here today for the board to vote on ratifying the action taken by the president of the association in advising me to have Mr. Conover's services terminated. So before we have a discussion among board members on this issue, Do I hear a motion to terminate Joseph Conover in providing any services to the association in any capacity? All right. Discussion. No discussion? He's a felon, guys.
Wait. I can tell you as a manager that my discussion with you guys have been very good about this. If you're going to take this action against him, he's an employee of mine. I took it on behalf because you guys made me to. So at this point in time, I took him and I took him to legal counsel. So he's going to discuss his legal rights as that to such. Now, I'm also letting you guys know, if you're taking this action against him, you're going to have to take this action against every single vendor you have.
Why?
I'm just letting you know, because you're picking and choosing. He's an employee of mine. Now, example like pest control, we haven't done any background checks on any of their employees either, and they come up here all the time. The pond guys, you guys haven't done any background checks on them either. You haven't done any background checks on anybody else. So you're
But the thing
selecting.
is, he was doing security, and the people of Turnberry were very upset with the way he treated
I understand
them.
that, and I'm not trying
And
to get.
that's
Well, that's what I'm
why-
saying. I'm not trying to open this up into a legal issue because it's going to be ongoing. This is going to be a legal thing. That's the only discussion I'm going to say about it. Is I don't want to further it up because there's a lot of legal and I'm reporting this. So if you guys want to take this up later and discuss it with him on one-on-one, I'm okay with that too.
Well, it may be possible. I mean, there's a couple of options here. The board could take up the resolution and basically adopt what the president advised me to do, which was to have Mr. Conover services on behalf of Turnberry terminated. If there's a legal concern about doing that, we're not going to discuss that in front of the entire membership. It's not. They'll have to notice another meeting of a closed meeting of the board of directors of the association to address the legal ramifications of this. And, Mr. Pozo's pointed out, the possibility that the guy who's spraying around your retention and detention ponds might have a record. I don't know how relevant that is when something like this does come to the attention of the board. And I'm not saying the board of directors needs to run a background check on every single vendor who enters your subdivision. But when something like this comes to your attention and you become affirmatively aware of a situation where a gentleman who has a felony is performing services on behalf of the association, you have to take it up. You can't ignore it. So the two options that the association is looking at now is to table the resolution pending the noticing of a closed door meeting with your council to discuss it, the legal ramifications associated with the termination. I don't know what those are. This is the first I've heard of it. The option number 2 would be to simply ratify the decision of the president of the board made on September 27 when she advised my law firm to have Mr. Conover's services terminated. That is the currently pending resolution. There hasn't been a second made to that yet. In terms of how the board wants to proceed on it, if you want to be extra cautious about it, do you know whether or not Mr. Conover has retained counsel?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
Were you
Well,
able to look at the criminal background check?
we have not gotten the results of the criminal background back yet. We requested one, we haven't gotten that result back yet. Although it is my understanding, based on the reporting online, that there was a plea to felony that was accepted. So, sort of bottom line is where it stands right now. The president of the board has acted. Mr. Conover, by direction of the president of the board, has been terminated from rendering any services on behalf of the association. The president of the board had the authority to do that. The question pending now is whether the board of directors is going to vote to ratify that decision, that executive decision made by the president of the board, which is what presidents of the board are supposed to do, make executive decisions. In the absence of the president, the vice president has that authority. At this stage, he's terminated. So the question is whether the association's board is going to take up the matter and ratify it today, or whether the association's board... Is Mr. Conover here today?
He's not here today.
All right, well, I was kind of hoping Mr. Conover would show up and be given an opportunity.
No, he was told not to come.
All right, well, I don't know. At this point, he remains terminated in terms of his ability to provide services to the association by directive of the president of the board. What I would suggest doing at this stage is not doing anything to change that status, but instead have the board meet with me in closed session at such time I've gotten back the criminal background check, which I ordered, and so that everybody can go over that at a closed door session, discuss the legal ramifications, if any, associated with ratifying what the president has decided. And then at that closed door meeting, after conferring with counsel, it goes as an agenda item on the next meeting of the board in front of the members to take final action on this issue. That's probably appropriate at this stage. Okay, so we're not going to take any action other than letting everybody know, by who can hear my voice, that Mr. Conover, by directive of the president of the board, his services on behalf of Turnberry have been terminated.
Are we able to second the motion to vote on that? Or is that by surprise?
It's one of those things. I have not seen the criminal back. All I have is an online statement. I'm a little upset with the company I use. I expected to have this. I thought I'd have it by the 9th, and it's 2 weeks later, and I still don't have it. So I think we need to do a little more due diligence before finalizing it. Just a little more due diligence. But what you've done is final for now, pending ratification by the full board. Yeah, that's where it's at. It's probably appropriate to get the background check in. There's sensitive information in something like that. It's something that probably should be discussed at a closed door meeting. There's potential litigation associated with a decision like that. And I just want to make sure that every I is dotted and every T is crossed. Okay, all right, fair enough. Let's move on. The next item on the agenda is the cleaning service with respect to the pool and cabana area. Ms. Raposo, what is that agenda item about?
That is to, the service to clean the bathrooms, the cabana area, the pool area, that kind of stuff is up again. There's this company, they came out, Green Team. They're saying they're $100 per cleaning. So we have them come up and do it twice per week right now. That's what the services are doing now.
So it's, when you say $100 per cleaning.
Per cleaning, so it'd be twice a week. Yeah, there'd be 200 a week. Yeah.
And that's what
What did they clean?
What do
They clean the bathrooms, the gym, the cabana areas, and the benches around the pool area. And they're also returning to do it.
I can only speak to the men.
Molly needs
It
well,
needs
Molly's,
it.
right. Yeah,
It needs more TLC.
You gotta hire a company to do it. So that will be, what is it? That'll be 800 plus a little bit of cleaning supplies.
They're not really doing that good for them.
No, this is a new company.
Oh, that's a new
Oh, right.
company.
So you have to hire a new company.
what's the name of it?
It's Green Team.
Green team.
How many bids did you get?
We got 2. One declined right away, and then the other one came back, and she put in a bid. And then the second one, which gave me a verbal but didn't give it to me in writing, which is Molly Maid.
Well, how much they're charging?
They're $125 per cleaner.
But these are executory
And that's
contracts.
because they bring 4 people, and they have,
But this is not some long-term contract. It's
year to year.
an annual contract.
But they have a 30-day out, so.
Okay, so it's an annual contract with a 30-day termination notice.
Right. And they have to put, this is just a bid.
All right, so we don't have a contract to look at yet. So it's a 1-year contract for cleaning that area with a termination of the contract on 30 days notice.
30-day notice.
So if they do a lousy job, give them the heave-ho.
Okay.
Do I hear a motion for a resolution to accept the bid and similar to what we're doing with sprinkler system contract with sprinkler repair, have this bid, this company submit a contract, an annual contract to do this cleaning service.
The restrooms, it's cleaning restrooms and cabanas and stuff like that.
Do I hear a motion?
Yeah.
Okay, any further discussion among the board?
No.
All in favor, please, do I hear a second? All in favor? Okay, so we're gonna, please ask this company to submit a contract. And if it is as advertised with a 30-day termination, no harm to the president of the board signing the contract, bring the signed contract to the next board meeting for ratification by the rest of the members. Okay. The next agenda item is trash service for the pool and cabana. This is removing trash.
This is those big dumpsters, the big trash cans. So now you have to hire somebody new to do this. So the landscape guy, he charges $200 a month for him to take the trash to the dump to do that. If you try to hire outside, like the current trash people service to do it, they require a big dumpster. So you're gonna have to put a commercial, because we're considered commercial, you have to put a big dumpster there. So if you don't want a big dumpster, then you have to hire one of the vendors, which is the landscape guy, to come and take it.
And is this paid for on a per job basis?
It's per month.
All right, with a sort of an oral contract, pick up the
Right.
dumpster, and he'll do it
Additional for his additional services.
he'll do it for $250 a
For
month,
$250 a month.
and terminable at will.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is an oral contract for a gentleman to remove your junk and trash from the pool and cabana area for $250 a month.
So it doesn't make a difference how much trash he'll take it?
He'll take it. Because right now it's just a 96 gallon,
It's 250 or 200?
250. Yeah, per month.
This is sort of in the nature of an oral contract, terminable at will. Do I hear a motion to adopt a resolution allowing, who's the vendor?
It's Greater Outdoor.
Greater Outdoor to do monthly removal of the trash in the pool cabana area. If I have a motion for a resolution to that effect, then there can be further discussion. Do I hear a motion?
'Cause right now it's building up. You gotta do something. You don't have a choice.
All right. Any discussion? Any further discussion on this?
I just had one question. It's a monthly contract, but they don't remove the garbage monthly, they remove it daily, right?
No, right now they're on
Bi-weekly?
schedule. Yeah, bi-weekly.
Okay.
Yeah, they do it when they're here. So when they go, they just take it with them when they go to the dump.
Okay.
Sorry.
So he's just charging basically extra services.
Any further discussion from the board on this issue? Okay, we have a pending motion with respect to this service. Do I hear a second? Okay, vote of the board with respect to adopting a resolution to have this service performed. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? All right, the service is hereby accepted by the association.
And
They have the
then
trash removed.
The next one's Handyman Services, and I don't have any bids yet for that. So we can take
Nothing to
that.
do on that one.
So that's tabled.
All right, now we have the October Fall Community Party. Boy, that'll be a hot time. Well, I don't know. Can you please explain what that agenda item is all about?
Well, I already posted out for the October Fall Party. It was supposed to be on the 27th of October. However, I was hearing from a bunch of people that they wanted to move it to November 10th instead. Why? Because the kids are out of school, is what the big reason was. It's because they're out of school, it'll be a good time for them to come up. The bad part about that is that you miss the painting of the pumpkins and all that other stuff, right? But you can always do something else, like cookie decorations or other stuff too. So that way too, it's after, yeah, so there you go. And also there's Veterans Day on 11th, and there's more holiday slide for that. So a lot of people were asking for it to be moved to November, or for, November 10th. That's what I would ask.
Well, there's a lot of controversy in the community right now. I don't know if it's one of those things. The question is, anybody on the board willing to adopt a resolution to spend a budget of $4,500 to have a October Fall Community Party on November 10, 2019? Do I hear a motion?
Well, I think it might be good for the community.
I think so.
Okay, so we have a pending motion, discussion among the board.
think moving the date is good. What's best for the kids is best.
The communities always come together when it comes to these kind of things.
Okay. I mean, your community needs that. I mean,
Yeah.
there's been a lot of strife, and I think it would be wonderful if everybody could get together and talk these issues out.
Yeah. So we have a motion?
So we do have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. October Fall Community Party will take place on November 10, 2019. Where does that happen?
But
It's by the pool area.
Okay, over by the pool area. Okay. All right. Okay, now there is pending litigation concerning the October 16 meeting. What I've done is prepare a copy of what's a public record. We have a standing injunction which Judge Murphy has issued. Please pass that around. Now, Judge Murphy in open court, because the individuals involved withdrew their candidacies for the board of directors, has indicated that he's likely going to dissolve the injunction, which is good. We don't need injunctions being laid against individuals. That will not resolve the case. It'll get us very close to potentially resolving the case. We've submitted a form of order to the judge, which the attorney who is representing the 7 individuals has approved, and we're awaiting action from the court on that. I'm a little loath to discuss anything more than that because it involves ongoing litigation with the board. This could be a matter which the board could take up at a closed session where we would also discuss the issues involving Mr. Conover. That may be something the board may want to consider. Also, in the area of new business, the association has received a package from an attorney other than the attorney who is representing the 7 individuals in the lawsuit I just referred to, stating that the October 16 meeting was a meeting to recall the board. And they attached paperwork associated with that. The board has a duty under Florida law to act on this recall effort. It has a deadline of Monday, October 28, 2019, to have a meeting to either certify what's called a recall effort or to not certify the recall effort and reject the recall and cite the reasons for it. That's all I'm going to say about this at this point. But the board is going to need to, by no later than this Monday, October 28, have a meeting to take up what's been characterized by another attorney as a recall effort. That meeting will be properly noticed and hopefully can be conducted inside, weather permitting, maybe in the evening when these facilities are on the inside or more readily available. I don't want to say anything else at all about this recall effort other than to advise the board that you're going to have another meeting. The recall petition was received and dated October 21. The association has 5 business days to act, have a board of directors meeting with the sole agenda item for the meeting to take up the recall effort, and then to either certify the recall or to reject the recall. If the recall is rejected, the board at the meeting has to cite reasons for doing so. I am not going to discuss anything other than that. We'll go into detail. This will be a public meeting. Everybody will be allowed to attend, and the board will take up the recall petition and with my assistance decide what's appropriate concerning that. I anticipate this meeting taking place on Monday. Can't be later than Monday. If it's later than Monday, then the recall will be deemed effective. So just letting everybody know to get ready to show up at a meeting, probably here Monday, late afternoon, early evening. At that juncture, at that time, we'll take up all the specifics. Okay? That's all I want to do as far as new business with respect to that issue.
There are no architecture reviews for
review.
Okay, there's no pending A or B applications. It's the open forum time. Now, just so everybody understands, anybody who wants to have their voice heard has a right under Florida law to speak their piece. But it has to be reasonable. It has to be limited in terms of the amount of time. You can say what you like, you can ask questions, but there's nobody sitting up here who's required to engage. There's no requirement by the board to answer questions. I'll do the best I can to moderate the discussion, but if you want to speak, you need to raise your hand, be recognized, state your name, state your address, and then say your piece, and then we'll have a moderated discussion. Once the open forum is over, there'll be a motion to adjourn the meeting, and then presumably everybody at that point is going to want to go home and agree to adjourn the meeting. So is there anybody here who has anything to say to the board of directors about association business? Yes, sir. I'm sorry, what's your name and address?
My name is Lawrence Hoffman, 4021 Longworth Group.
Okay.
I'd like to know why a number of community members have had their access to the community website suspended.
Does anybody have any knowledge about that?
If I could tell you by the website, at one point the website was down, and then one time the website came back up. Those of you who are in legal or have pending legal action against you, the website automatically shuts you down. They don't allow you access. And it's just access if you're, I'm not going to discuss it any further, that's all I'm going to say. That's it. That's when I click off legal, it automatically cuts them down.
Okay, but do they know that they have?
Yes, they'll send out a thing saying your account is suspended, and it'll say for the
It
whole
doesn't say anything. It just says your access has been suspended.
And they normally write back, and then I say it's because of legal. I do give notice, is why.
What legal action? I haven't received any notification, any notice of anything.
You guys, look, I'm not going to sit here and try to play. You guys that are illegal, you guys know why you're illegal. You know why you're illegal, and you know what the reasons you were illegal. So I'm not going to sit here and play to it. So I'm just telling you, is the moment I check off legal, you're illegal.
Well, what legal ramifications?
You guys know why you're illegal.
Why?
Because some of you, it's because of the October 16 meeting. You guys did some illegal stuff, and you guys don't want to. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and get into discussion with you because I was told not to. So I'm not going to do that. Please do. Go ahead.
You're denying me my right to access the community website for no reason.
You don't have, look, the only thing it denies you is access is to your account. That's it. It doesn't stop you from emailing me and going, what is my account, whatever, because a lot of people have done that. The other ones too. I'm just telling you, is the moment you guys that have been identified as that need to go to legal or have legal actions pending against you folks, you guys have been marked and you guys are going to legal.
There's been no action against me.
Well, I'm sure there has been.
Yeah. Where? From who? From who?
Okay.
Well, listen, follow up with management directly on this issue as necessary. She can confer with me. Try to work with folks on that issue. Does anybody else have something they want to say during the open forum? Yes, ma'am.
Why is taking so
I'm sorry, what's
long?
your name?
My name is Suyin Cardo, and the property is 3068 Mandolin Drive. So my question is, after you pay the association, why is taking so long to update the system that you already made the payment?
It depends.
Because it happened to me like a month. Every month is behind.
If you do that, if you get on behind that rotation, this community I only upload payments once a month. And that was a long time ago because I had to do, this is over a year ago, and I had to do with PayPal's payments where they were holding payments for sometimes 60 days or 70 days. So when we would pull everybody, somebody would call me and go, hey, I paid a payment 2 months ago and it's not reflected on there. So then I'd go back and be like, you're absolutely right. PayPal didn't post it. So what we did to eliminate a lot of those problems, and it did, it stopped getting those complaints in so much, was we only post once a month. So it's on the 1st of every month. So when I get into the office on the 1st, it could be at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. I try to wait till about noon to pull those payments. So if you made your payment on the 1st, but you made it at 1, 4 o'clock, it's not going to be there until the next month.
Yeah, but what happened to me is I made the payment and then the following month was not updated. So I called, I sent an email, so they update the system, but they showed me $25 was behind. Was not behind.
No,
I
it
paid on
depends.
time,
Yeah.
that was not posted on my account a month later.
I have to go in and look at your
They
specific
sent me
account.
$25 something because it was behind. And it's not.
I'll go in and I'll look at that. The only time I charge is when you're almost 2 months late. 2, 3 months late.
I have right now in my account $91 behind.
Most times, if you have 1 or 2 months, you don't even see a late fee on there until you're like heading into the 3rd month. Yeah. But now if it's a situation like that, call and I have to physically go in and
I called,
look.
nobody picked the phone, so I sent email. I'm waiting for a response by email.
Okay.
Send an email.
So far, yeah, I sent 2 emails. I'm waiting for that.
But I'll note it here and I'll take a look.
Professional mind.
All right, very good. Any other comments during the open forum? Okay, very good. All right, do I hear a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting?
One more question. Why hasn't Inspector Gable been going to the rest of the community?